All right, let's settle in and talk about this show, this particular messy, captivating web of a story we're all watching. It's fascinating, isn't it, how a series can evolve, how it can deepen its shadows and sharpen its knives as it goes along. That's what we're seeing now. This third season feels different, heavier, like a storm that's been gathering for a long time finally deciding to break. The foundation is familiar, of course. We're still in a world where deeply flawed people navigate a landscape of their own creation, a landscape littered with bad choices and their inevitable consequences. But the tone has shifted. It's less about the frantic energy of youthful drama and more about the slow, sinking weight of those choices coming due. It's contemplative in its darkness, forcing us to sit with the aftermath, to really look at the cracks spreading through these characters' lives. And just when you think you've got the rhythm of it, the show pulls the rug out from under you. Think about the central saga that's dominated the story for so long. Stephen's relentless, almost operatic campaign to sabotage Bree and Evan's wedding. It was this monumental looming thing, this engine driving so much of the plot. And then, in a move that's both daring and brilliantly disruptive, the narrative just wraps it up. It chooses to resolve that major tension not in a season finale, but in a mid-season episode. That tells you something about the confidence of the storytelling now. It says, that chapter is closed. Now let's talk about the real fallout. Because the fascinating thing isn't the scheme itself anymore, it's what happens to everyone when the primary target vanishes. Stephen, for a moment, seems adrift, outmaneuvered by the sheer fact that his obsession is no longer relevant. But a void like that doesn't stay empty for long. Almost immediately, a new, potentially worse possibility flickers to life. It's like watching a predator whose favorite hunting ground has been fenced off. He doesn't just give up, he turns, his gaze settling on the rest of the herd with a fresh, chilling focus. Now, I have to be honest with you, I find myself wrestling with this show. There are times I watch it and think, I genuinely do not like a single person here. And then I realize that's not a bug in the system, it's the entire point. The show wants you to be uncomfortable. It wants you to feel that prickling sense of dismay. So in a strange way, my aversion is a testament to how effectively it's working. It's a clever, almost deceptive trick to craft something so compelling out of people behaving so terribly. And just when you think you found a foothold, a character to root for, the ground gives way. Take Wrigley, for instance. For so long he's been the respite, the slightly goofy, seemingly well-intentioned friend in the corner, the one who felt safe. But this season is peeling back those layers, and what we're starting to see underneath is unsettling. Can we even trust him? That question, the dawning realization that the show's one ostensibly likable character might be harboring his own deep flaws, is a bitter pill to swallow. It forces a kind of narrative isolation. It asks, if you can't trust him, who is left? Let's talk about Lucy, because her journey this season is a masterclass in spiraling self-destruction. She's carrying this immense, corrosive secret, and the weight of it is distorting everything. In a moment of weakness, a moment where she's drowning in her own shame over the past, she agrees to have a drink with Alex. It's a terrible idea, and part of her knows it. She confesses to him this deep-seated fear that she is fundamentally broken, flawed at her core. And Alex, in his characteristically detached and strange way, offers a kind of reassurance. But it's not a healthy reassurance, it's a permission slip. And then, as if the universe is determined to test her, fate intervenes. She runs into Max, who's on a date with Alex, and Alex cruelly recounts how poorly Lucy treated him. He then lays down a challenge. If Lucy truly believes she's not that bad a person, she should prove it by apologizing to Max right then and there. It's a manipulative trap, and she walks right into it. This desperate need to prove her own innocence, to rewrite the narrative of herself in someone else's eyes, drives her into even more bizarre and compromising encounters with Alex. And there's something truly unsettling about Alex's energy now. He's no longer just a casual fling from the past. He feels like a looming presence, a catalyst for worse things to come. But this, in a twisted way, is Lucy's tragic flaw. This belief that she can fix one mistake by making a series of others, that she can bury the truth under a mountain of new, complicated lies. And then, the walls start closing in faster. She's summoned back to the dean's office, but this time, Marion and Katie are there. Katie has learned that Lucy was also a victim, and she's considering reopening her case. She wants Lucy's account to validate her own, to create a united front. The irony here is thick you could cut it. Marion seems supportive, even encouraging of this solidarity. But Lucy can't join in. She's trapped in a prison of her own making. She lied. She lied about the core details of her experience to protect someone else, and Stephen knows she lied. So when she sees Marion championing Katie's truth, the double standard is sickening. She's repulsed by it, and by extension, repulsed by her own complicity in this broken system. Then the situation explodes publicly. A page appears online naming both Katie and Lucy as victims. The secret is out, but in the most chaotic, uncontrollable way possible. Bree tries to offer comfort, but Lucy is in pure survival mode. She has to act, not for herself, but to shield Pippa, the person she originally lied to protect, who is understandably terrified of the story being dragged into the light. In a panic, Lucy goes to the one person she thinks might understand the magnitude of her problem, Diana. She plays the recording of her confession, the one Stephen secretly filmed, and asks for advice on how to move forward. Diana's response is a cold bucket of reality. She tells Lucy to keep quiet, to bury it all up and hope it fades away. It's pragmatic, cynical advice, and it leaves Lucy more isolated and bewildered than ever. But Diana's reaction is key. She's the only one who truly grasps the lethal nature of Stephen's toxicity. Her blunt, almost humorous dismissal of the drama isn't cruelty. It's the survival instinct of someone who has seen the monster up close and knows feeding it only makes it stronger. This brings us to the evolving, beautiful, and now tragically complicated dynamic between Bree and Wrigley. Their connection has been a rare source of genuine platonic warmth. He's been her cheerleader, her confidant. When her luck takes a nosedive after a run-in with Oliver, who uses his knowledge of her secrets to psychoanalyze and belittle her, it's Wrigley who shows up. He helps her with her photography portfolio. He offers reassuring words about Evan still being smitten with her. He even lets her take his picture for her exhibition. It's tender, it's supportive, and it's increasingly loaded with unspoken tension. The camera lingers on their moments a little too long, the subtext bubbling just beneath the surface. When Pippa arrives and makes a weak excuse to leave, the space between Bree and Wrigley feels charged with something new and dangerous. That innocent platonic prism is beginning to fracture, and what we see through the cracks is a messier, more potent chemistry. We'll have to see where that leads, but the foundation is already trembling. Meanwhile, Diana's storyline is where some of the season's most satisfying payoffs are happening. Remember her shocking pregnancy revelation and her masterful power play at the end of last season? Those two threads are now braiding together. Diana, in control and utterly pragmatic, has scheduled an abortion. The only person she tells is Molly, which of course means the news eventually leaks across campus. Stephen storms into her room in a rage, furious he wasn't consulted. The sheer audacity of that expectation, that he should have a say, is highlighted perfectly when Wrigley, of all people, points out how ludicrous it is. Diana doesn't just reject Stephen, she eviscerates him. She tells him the termination of his child will be the happiest day of her life. It's a brutal, breathtaking line that underscores the depth of her contempt. Later, when Pippa checks on her, Diana describes the pregnancy simply as disruptive. It's a cold, clinical word, and it tells you everything about how she views this chapter, not as a tragedy, but as an inconvenient problem to be solved. Her growing, awkwardly intimate friendship with Pippa is a highlight, a genuine human connection amidst all the manipulation, and it provides a necessary counterbalance to Lucy's isolating chaos. As all these threads swirl, we finally circle back to the present-day 2015 timeline at the wedding. Bree, realizing the depth of her mistake with Evan, seeks a reconciliation. And we see the fallout of all these secrets playing out on the dance floor. The camera pans across the room, capturing a mosaic of reactions. Wrigley, watching Bree and Evan with a hint of envy, Stephen vibrating with furious energy, Lucy and Pippa seeking solace in increasingly heavy drinking. For a moment, it seems Stephen's poison has failed. He tries to needle Lucy about his new relationship, and she just laughs, telling him she finds it validating that he'll never change. It means the problem was always him, not her. He tries to provoke Bree, and she shuts him down, declaring she won't let one mistake ruin her life. He appears defeated. Then, opportunity knocks. On the dance floor, Wrigley whispers to Pippa that he's pretending she's the one he's still in love with, and in that moment his eyes lock with Bree's over their partner's shoulders. The connection is undeniable, electric, and tragically visible, and Steven sees it. He always sees it. Noticing Wrigley's unattended phone, he picks it up. The screen lights up with a log of calls and FaceTime sessions, countless connections between Wrigley and Bree. A slow, triumphant smile spreads across Steven's face. In that instant, you can see the new scheme forming, the fresh target acquired. He has in his hands not a weapon of blunt force, but a seed of scandal, of betrayal, of broken trust, and he is more than ready to plant it, water it, and watch as it grows into something that could indeed utterly destroy everyone around him. The game isn't over. It's just entered a new and perhaps even more devastating phase.